Hello, this is the TradeSite US Stocks and Futures and Forex Market Preview for the week beginning Sunday, the 8th of May, 2022, and ending Friday, the 13th, Friday the 13th. Always fun, right? Here's a look at the dollar index daily chart. As you can see, a high range base breakout is what it is. There's not a lot here. We've been kind of flat for a couple of weeks, but we've obviously the dollar's at the highs and strong, and we're good there. Let's go through the daily charts, some of the major Forex pairs. So the euro dollar at lows, not surprising there either. There's a gap here on the chart only because the FXCM data died for a couple of weeks with the signal. There's pound dollar also at lows. Aussie dollar, not at lows, but not looking great either. So it is what it is. Let's look at the intra week action here. So here's the euro dollar. I need to really look at this from the general symbol instead of the other one. So what you can see is high to low for the week is about 100 and let's call it 160 pips, and most of that was the Fed announcement up and back. Other than that, you're looking at maybe 80 pips for the entire week, which is not very interesting. Here's the pound dollar. This is bigger. I mean, 350 pips, 375 pips. But again, the early part of the week was dead. Then with the announcement, spike up. So the dollar got weaker for a few minutes, but then came back down later on Thursday night, and then Friday was dead. So it's really Thursday was the only day of the week where there was action. So we don't want to get wrapped up just in one day. So we'll move on from that and stop looking at it or dealing with it. Here's the ES front month futures contract. This is the daily chart of the broad market. In futures form, we are hanging near lows, and this is showing some of the futures data here early Sunday. We've already opened about an hour ago. As you can see, we're sitting near the lows. S&P cash loses 23.53. Nothing pretty about that. There's nothing about this pattern, by the way, that's good. I mean, everything is very negative. So the long side is not really desirable unless, we get a plunge and maybe a reversal at some point in time, but everything on the long side is probably going to be tough. Nasdaq 100 down 157 on Friday. That's new lows for the Nasdaq for the year. I think there's still some room. The SOX down 23.46, not at new lows, but close to it. The biotech's down 143.52. They're just pulling the rug on the biotechs. The Russell 2000 down 31.58. Nothing good about that. Crude oil down 42 cents to 109.35. Gold down $2.40. Advanced decline ratio on the Nasdaq down negative was what? Negative 1628. So more stocks down than up on the Nasdaq on Friday, which is fine. On the New York, it's negative 1222. So that's not too great. So again, both sides, very bad breadth in the market. We got the volume 5.3 billion shares on Friday. It was also that on Thursday. So we'll see what we get for the rest of the week, but it's picked up a little bit as we head down as usual. VIX down $1.01, interesting, to 30.19, so that's fine. The trend closes at 0.92, puts the 10-day moving average at 0.91, puts the 10-day at 1.12. We will start to see a couple of big numbers drop off this week, and that could be interesting for the market because you need that 10-day moving average under 0.85. Apple up 74 cents, so Apple continues to try to hold in. As we always say, it's a source of funds, meaning if they're selling Apple, they're using it to shore up other investments around the market. But if they're not, then they're not concerned about other things. Amazon down 32.69. New lows, that's a new closing low, new low on Amazon for a while. Facebook down $4.51. Not a new low, basically where it's been for 4 months, but it's definitely near the lows compared to where it was earlier. Google down 15.18. Goldman Sachs down 11 cents. Netflix down 7.35. Peloton down $1.31. $15.70 on Peloton. This was $130 stock just back in September. TLT, the 20-year bond ETF, down $1.70. So again, bonds lower, rates higher. That's what that generally means. Tesla down $7.63. Another ugly chart. Zoom down $4.46. We made some money there. VIX up 7 cents. Is what it is. We've got Bitcoin down 17.10 to 34,215 at the moment. That's a new closing low on Bitcoin. If we close here, this is just taking out the lows of almost everything. Nothing positive on the crypto side. The Dow down 98.6. And that's it. All right, so we look at the Intra Day Action. Let's go to 10-minute candles on the ES. This is the whole week then. So you can see we opened flat on Monday. We kind of wiggled both ways, went lower and then went higher, and then closed just slightly positive from where we opened. Tuesday, kind of a flat opening, but that's expected because what? Because we were going into the Fed. And Wednesday, also a flat opening and nothing because we're going into the Fed. And then you can see the Fed announcement hits. There's a little bit of wiggle room. Then they do the press conference. And everybody says, oh, they're not going to do a 3/4 point rate hike in the next meeting. They're doing half, is what they're saying. So that caused a rally, which seemed like a dumb rally. And then on Thursday, we gapped down, headed lower. Friday, small gap down and flat. And here's the thing. At the end of the week, we're basically where we started. We're a little bit lower on the S&P or the ES side. And if we look at the Nasdaq side, it's a little bit lower, but it's still not that much lower. We lost a little bit, but it is what it is. And we still have a war going on, and we still have all these other things. So, whatever, you can't get around that. All right, in terms of economic data coming out, let's go to this week. I'm not really on this week yet. There we go. So, sorry about that. China's got trade balance Sunday. Then you go to French trade balance, Sentex. None of these things matter. No U.S. data except for the loan officer survey on Monday that matters. 10-year bond auction out of Japan. Going into Tuesday, we've got Italian industrial production, zoo economic sentiment out of Europe. NFIB small business index out of the U.S. here, 6 a.m. Eastern time. A Fed member speaks. A couple of them do on Monday. China's got their CPI and PPI that night. And then we've got leading indicators out of Japan, German final CPI. None of these things matter. OPEC meetings begin. CPI here in the U.S., that's one of our big three, so we'd be half size for Forex Tuesday night ahead of that. Mortgage delinquencies, crude oil inventories at 10:30, 10-year bond auction at 1, federal budget balance at 2. It's all good. Bank lending out of Japan, current account out of Japan. Thursday, economy watchers sentiment, preliminary GDP, construction output, goods trade balance, index of services, industrial production, manufacturing production, preliminary business investment, Swiss PPI, US PPI, US initial and continuing jobless claims numbers Thursday at 8:30 a.m. That's a weekly number. Natty gas at 10:30. That's a weekly number. Nothing else matters. Friday, really, import-export prices and preliminary University of Michigan sentiment. So there's not a lot of data on Friday. It's not a heavy week, but that CPI is the one thing looming out there. And obviously the war and everything else, that's what's concerning the market. And then interest rates in general, and we all know what the market's expecting. Charts as usual brought to you by eSignal. If you've not yet taken the trial of our services, feel free to do so. We will help you out for a couple of weeks. Have a great trading week.